Good afternoon, everybody. Last week I had a little bit of an issue getting on, so I thought I'd try a couple minutes before, but it worked. Yay. So we'll just give everybody a minute here. Hi, Irene. How are you? Everything worked this time, so that's good. I was able to get on. Move my camera a little bit. All right, I think we're okay. Hello, Glinda. Yeah, I think obviously sometimes with updates and stuff, it's hard to know, if everything's going to go smoothly, but most of the time it does. Hi, Sheila. How are you guys doing today? It's gorgeous. It's sunny here. We have been very, very lucky that fall has been so beautiful in Calgary. You're just opening your kit up right now? That's awesome. Are you guys going to scrapbook with me? I did not have anything planned for today, and I thought, you know what, let's just get this kit out and play. I printed off a couple pictures. Hello, Judy. And sometimes it makes me a little bit nervous to do a scrapbook page live because I feel like I'm so slow. Hi, Julie. Oh, and yes, Irene, another VBoo crew member. Yes, I think, Irene, are you doing Vicki's PrintShop class? So yeah, usually if I have a card, I have it all planned out. And so that is a little bit less, not stressful, but just sometimes I find that I'll put something on and then I'll walk away and do something and then I'll come back. And obviously you guys don't want to be here till, supper time. So I've kind of got an idea of what we're doing. You're going to do her class, Glenda? Oh, I can just imagine. It's going to be amazing and so full of ideas. Just watching her Friday Night Lives, she's incredible. January, February, yeah. And that gives you time. I think she's got to get things shipped out and stuff. I was kind of watching her, I think it was last week's, but she was mentioning that a few of the PrintShop things now are sold out from American Crafts, and obviously down the chain it will be sold out. I think the paper pads, the 12x12 and the 6x8. So if you have your eye on something in particular that you want, just pick it up because we never know if stuff does go out of stock, if it's going to come back in. So if there's something you really wanted. You haven't seen her on her Friday Night Lives, Linda? You'll have to check it out. She's on YouTube and Facebook, I believe both. And it's just under her channel, Vicki Boutin. And so she does live every Friday and is just very, uses her mixed media, and she's fun and really, really entertaining to watch, as well as, really inspiring. Oh, she was away the last 2 weeks, so it must have been the last one that was there. So this is the kit for this month. Hi, Helen. And this is the PrintShop kit. So we walked through it last week. If you didn't see that and you're not sure about what's in the kit, you can check that out as well. But the only thing I don't have here is the card stock. So I went and just picked up or picked through my card stock for a few things that match. Hi, Tamara. Do you have your kit yet? Yeah, she's on Facebook and YouTube. Cheryl, hello. So we've got 12 pattern papers. We've got 2 of the stencils. And we've got the journaling. No, this is the floral ephemera. Then we have the thickers. This is the Perfect Day puffy phrases and accent stickers. We've got cardstock, so this is double-sided. And then this is the 6x12 sticker sheet. They're cardstock stickers. So that's double-sided. And then we've got the Making Things foil chipboard phrase stickers. So they're a little bit heavier weight than these ones. So that's in your kit, as well as 6 pieces of cardstock. That is coordinating. And then there's lots of add-ons that you can get. So if you're a Kit Club member, you can get the add-ons while they are in stock at a discount. And if you're just looking for a few pieces of the line, then just search the store for Vicki Boutin PrintShop. And I thought we would also use today, I'm just gonna catch up on your comments. I know I missed a couple things. Hey Ruth, how are you? Oh, the Holly and Evergreen classes in December. That will be lovely. I absolutely love that line as well. Hello, Pam. You're still waiting on your kit, Tamara. I'm sure it will be there soon. Yes, it's a fabulous kit, Glenda. And Pam's waiting on her kit, so that should be there soon. Hello, Joanne. And Irene is well stocked. Awesome, Irene. There will be no fear of missing out. No FOMO for Irene because she's in. Yes, I have collected some of this kit the last couple weeks and I love it. So this is also the PrintShop. This isn't in the kit, but I just wanted to kind of show you. This is the ready to use mixed media paper. And I actually split this with a friend. So you get 12, there's 12 different sheets and you get 3 of each. So 36 12 by 12 papers. And you can see that they are, I mean, you could use this with any collection, but it was brought out with this collection. So of course it's going to match your colors and everything like that. But just to give you a flip through, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And I love foundations paper and I love creating backgrounds. Sometimes you just want to start with a little bit of mixed media already. And I think these are amazing. Love the colors, love the designs. You pick it up from Scrap Shotz. Well, we very much appreciate that, Irene. And yes, Vicky's kit, because you knew that you would want more. Okay, this I am absolutely loving. This is the vellum sheet, just to give you guys a little up close look. It's so beautiful. And I'm gonna probably use this today. This is an add-on, or it's in the shop, and this is the journaling ephemera. So lots of really cute images that go. So I'll probably use that a little bit. And then last week, I wasn't gonna open this, but then I decided I had to buy it. So, Glenda, I know. So I just have to show you guys, like, and if you wanted to split this with a friend, it's so well worth it. So I think it's like 15, but if you're a Kit Club member, you can get it as an add-on for 12 something. And there's 2 of each in here. There's 200 pieces. They're like little stickers, washi tape stickers, so they're really thin. There's various different types of stickers, but some of them are the washi tape. And just to kind of give you a look, so we might pull a couple things out of this, but how fun are these? And these will be so great for like layering or stamping on. Look at this, so nice. Yeah, 200 piece, amazing. So you'll have 2 of each and you don't have to be scared to use them. Like, so fabulous. I think you could use these in planners and traveler's notebooks. And like I said, I didn't open it up last week because I wasn't sure, but then I decided, you know, I'm gonna have to buy it. because I will use this for lots of things. Mini books, these are so great just to add, whether you're scrapbooking or you could add them to your cards too. I love these like coffee rings in the different colors and the splats. There's a ton. Those are great. So some of them, there's some stickers and there's some papers. But looking at the back, it's hard to tell how wonderful it is. So this just kind of gives you a little idea. This is great. We'll pull that aside. Maybe we'll put that on. Love the tickets. See tickets on lots of stuff now. I think they're very popular. Love the playing cards. These would be great for junk journals too. Oh, isn't that great? But this collection is so nice for anything, I think. Like, it's not specifically themed, but there's lots of things you could pull out of it, like back to school and have the rulers and anything that's notebooks, and just pictures that you want to take. Pictures of everyday life. All right, I know that you guys are watching me scan through this, but hopefully this gives you an idea of all this amazing stuff that's in here. Lots of places to write journaling on. Look, guest checks. Aren't those fun? I love these things that look like they're, you know, old-fashioned library card type ideas. So that, if you're looking for it, is the papery pack. Hello, Lorraine. It's very versatile, Irene. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside for now. We might bring that out after. So usually how I start scrapbooking, let's move this stuff. I've got my kit, obviously, and I've got a few other things. I also pulled out these stamps. This is the, love this stamps. So these have lots of circles and you could make these into flowers. I think you could mix and match these with the flower stamps, but this is the one that I have. I also pulled out the Rainbow Cosmic Watercolor set. I thought maybe we'll make that, or we'll use that. So we've got those, we've got our papers, and I have some cardstock that's coordinating. I always like to use a grid ruler because I feel like it helps me kind of keep things straight. And I know that I'm going, okay, I like using a sketch. So I grabbed this sketch from the Creative Scrapbookers Sketchy Challenge Facebook group. And so I'm going to kind of follow this with the background and then a strip here, some smaller photos here, and my main photo there, just to give you an idea. The circles, they fill in the center of the flower. Oh, nice. So maybe I should have got the flower stamp too. Is that what you're saying, Irene? I probably should have. Okay, so I know that these are the photos that we're using, and we went to visit my daughter who lives closer to downtown, and we live like 20 minutes apart, but from her place, like I'd say we kind of live, I guess, is it suburbs, where we live on the outskirts, but from her area, there's a park, and we were taking the dog for a walk, and so you can see the whole city lighted up in the background, and it's just amazing. And it's so different because we rarely go anywhere at night. I mean, it's just starting to get dark earlier, but and we don't often go into the city at nighttime, so it was kind of neat to see the downtown. So those are my my three girls, Amy and Stephanie and Erica, and I thought this would be nice to scrapbook. It wasn't a specific theme. And I even found a title that I'm going to use. Thanks, Ellie. Yes, Irene. So I'm thinking maybe this, because I know I want to add some colors, and this is kind of light. I don't want anything too dark in the background, although I do like, I think you could honestly go with anything. I like the black too. And the black's really nice. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll go with the black. But I think, you know, just use kind of what you, there, I had black right there and I didn't even notice. Okay, we're gonna pull this out, and this is from that ready to use mixed media paper. So thanks Serene, if you don't have this, then you could totally use a piece of foundation paper or the white background, put some black ink down, do a stencil, have fun doing this. But I like that this is ready to go. So we're just going to take this branding strip off here. All right, so we have our background, and then I'm just going through and getting the base of my project, I think, so that then I can add some stenciling and some stamping. So I want to add just a border down this side, and there's lots of other papers in the shop too. So normally what I do is I just kind of flip through the papers that I have and see what kind of catches my eye as something that coordinates. I do like the blue. I like that. I like the print, and that's nice too. I'm just gonna move these back. I pulled out some inks to use. I even like that's nice as well, and that almost kind of pulls that pink in from the photos. So that could be a possibility. Coffee is ready. Awesome. Enjoy your coffee. So this is nice too, that pink there. What I might do is add like a strip of this and then a little strip of that. So yeah, there is more papers in the shop too, if you're looking for extra ones. That I like that geometric. Something to bring out the city lights and brighten it up, yes. And I figured too, I'm gonna add some paper in the background here. This is nice. I really like this blue. And I'm thinking I might put that behind there, but I'm not sure. And I am gonna use one of these tags. So I have an idea about what I wanna do. You know what, let's just go ahead and we're gonna cut that off. I like too that this is that splatty black there and the black's right there. That blue is nice, hey? We could, if we were thinking about the blue, we could, that blue is, it is kind of nice there though, because it does bring out those lights. What do you guys think? Do you think the blue, I kind of almost like that, or this? Now that I see that blue there, I kind of like the way the blue brings it out. And then we could put a little strip of another color beside it. Blue, all right. See, this is This is why I often don't do scrapbooking live, because I'm not sure if this is everybody's process, but that's kind of mine, is like this. Okay, maybe that. We're gonna do the blue for that main strip. Oh, okay. The pink. The blue star background in the other pad. Oh, yes, that would look nice. Oh, you're saying the blue. In that. Okay, let's see. We're gonna pull it out. But I think that, I don't know, that might be too much blue there. I do like that, and it is kind of night. Is that too much blue? And then, ooh, look at that. We could put that as a border. Okay, we've either got, we're gonna go with this and this, and then we can either do the blue star or the black. Plus we're gonna add some stamps. Yeah, I think so too, Irene. You know what, let's go with this. And we'll save this blue one. And because we're going to add some stamping in here, I think it'll be okay. But you know what, it's not like there's any one recipe, and I think just, you know, have fun picking what you're picking, and next time you can pick something different, right? So I do kind of go with my gut feeling about what will work. Of course, I'm going to save those. Isn't that cute? Thanks, Joanne. And then let's do like a strip that's maybe, we'll do 2.5 inches wide. I'm just got my tonic trimmer on the side. So that's going to go there. It's a little bit wider than that, so we'll trim it down after. And I'm going to use this branding strip that I usually do scrapbook by color. So if something looks good color-wise, okay, that's going to kind of go there. Then I go with it. I remember the black is more white background for stamping. Yes. I remember watching Shamel, and Shamel still does lives as well. She has like a Facebook live, I think every week, and she's so great to watch. And I remember watching, I think it was when she was like back in that 2 peas in a bucket or something like that, or it might have been a class. Anyway, she was putting things together by color, and it wasn't even things that specifically matched. And I thought, I love that. Okay, so I want to put one of these tags is going to be my journaling, and I'll probably cut it down a little bit. So again, I'm just kind of deciding. I might stick with that one there. So I'm going to cut that off. And I love these tags. And so you can use the front or the back of these tags. And then even that is really cute. I like those little tabs. Okay, and we'll just trim this. People, the background pad isn't true 12 by 12. Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering why it was, yes, I can imagine people might not have been super happy, but you know what, once it's in your album, it's in a page protector. It's not like anybody's going to look through your album and get a measuring tape out. And if they do, then, you know, all the power to them. And I should have brought, well, maybe I have a whole bunch. Okay, so that is kind of going to be like that, but I don't know if I'm going to overlap. We'll have to think about that. Okay, and then we can get another paper that this can go on. Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure Vicki didn't really have anything. She probably didn't even realize that was happening. It was probably some kind of manufacturing thing. I love this page. I love that it is kind of white around the edges. And that black and white is very nice. I think maybe we'll do that. I just want a layer to put this on. We might be able to see it better like this. I'll do that one. I do really like this script background, but I think it might have to be a little bit darker, although we could ink the edges of that if we use the script. And we could do that. All right, let's do that. Hello, Colleen. Not her fault. That's right. Yeah. And it's still beautiful. And I mean, you could put this on a larger piece and have it just look like you laid it on to have a white border or black border or whatever color on a 12 by 12. And that would be fine too. Okay, I'm just going to trim this. And then I think we'll add some ink around the edge. So I didn't really measure it. I just laid my picture on and cut it, and then we'll ink the edge a little bit. I don't think I'll put another layer on, but if we were to, we could kind of do that. That might look okay too, but I don't know. All right. We'll set that aside for now because I think that could be the base of things. And then we'll decide on our stenciling. You know, I just have to find where I set my stencils. I'm going to set these papers to the side. Okay, so in the kit, we've got the one stencil from each of the packs, but there's two different packs of stencils. Okay, I did not open this yet. And with the add-on, I think it might be sold out, but you could add on the stencils that finish off the kit. I do kind of really like these hearts, and then but the stencils are still in the shop if you're looking for the full 3-pack of stencils. And I love these backgrounds that come with those stencils. Okay, so we could do a little bit of the circle and we could do some of the hearts too, or we could just stick with one. I know that this is kind of my layout. So I think what I'm gonna do I want a little bit of texture. So I've got the translucent grit paste. I'm going to put that on with some of the Distress embossing glazes. And I grabbed these 3 just kind of because they coordinated with the colors. Although the blue might look good since we have that dark blue on. I don't know what I have for a dark blue. This one might look good. The Uncharted Mariner, that would probably look good actually. So we'll take that out. But I also want to do a little bit of stamping, and if I add the texture on right now, then I can't stamp on top of it, but I could stamp beside it. But I think because I know that I'm going to add some stamping, we could just add the stamping now. And I'm kind of almost wishing that I would have grabbed the Uncharted Mariner ink pad. So look at these stamps, aren't they fun? I love circles. Okay, so I think we're just going to do a little bit of stamping in this area here with some of these. Oh, this looks like a rainbow. Okay, let's do this one first. And we'll do saltwater taffy. I thought that matched the collection fairly well. Now, I haven't used these stamps before. I'm not really worried about them stamping perfectly, but if you want to just make sure you're getting a good impression, then you could stamp it a couple times on a scrap piece of paper. It is that mixed media kind of look, so even if it doesn't stamp perfectly, I think it's fine. Isn't that nice? It's so pretty. Sometimes I think non-scrapbookers, if they were to watch this, they're probably like, what is she doing and why does it take her so long to do it? All right, let's, we're gonna do one of these down here. And I don't know if I told you this, but we went to my niece's wedding this summer. And of course, you know, people know that they know I'm a scrapbooker, but I was trying to explain to someone what I do, and they're like, what? Like you post stuff online? I said, well, I, you know, work with different companies and make things and post the products or post what I make online and kind of use the certain products. And so some people understood and some people didn't. Now maybe we'll do this circle. And then a couple weeks later, my husband gets a text from my brother-in-law, and he says, you know, does Karla still do crafty things? And he's like, yeah. And my brother-in-law says, well, I have 1,000 straws that I mistakenly bought from Amazon. So would she be able to use those? And I thought, people have no idea what I do. Like, what would I do with 1,000 straws? And obviously there are, you know, techniques and stuff you can do with straws, but who's going to use 1,000? And why am I going to glue them together? Like, I can just imagine that he thinks I just sit around like gluing popsicle sticks together all day. So that was my story. All right, so that one was speckled egg. And I really like that circle. And you know what? Before I put that away, I think I'm going to add part of that circle just onto the top of this tag. Like there. And you can also do double stamping and get that lighter image. The back of those tags are so great too. And that's just kind of bringing it together. Do you guys clean your stamps before you put them away? I always give mine a quick wipe. I do have a Nouveau, or it might be Tonic, because they own Nouveau, but it's the cleaning cloth. I know lots of different companies have them, and they're so great. You can stamp with paint, that's right, but do you need 1,000? That's a lot of stamping. But there are definitely lots of fun techniques. Okay, I do like this kind of, it looks like a light ray. We'll do a couple of these, and what do I have here? I don't know if I want to bring the green in. I suppose I could. It's kind of greenish in there. This is Shabby Shutters, so maybe we'll do that. You clean yours definitely. Yeah, I always clean them before I put them away because I know I'd never get them back out to clean them. Okay, so that's going to be there. Then let's do, I don't know, do that there, and maybe just do one more on the edge here. These are so fun. I can just imagine like creating whole backgrounds with these stamps. And of course you could put them in the center here, and then the flower one, like Irene was saying, these fit in the center of the flower, so you can have all these things inside. Okay, so we have our background there. Now we're going to put on some texture paste. And I'm going to just dry it a little bit because we're going to use embossing powder. And I just don't want the embossing powder to stick. I'll move my photos out of the way. And I've got that Tonic craft mat in the back. I think it's 17 by 24. It's a nice mat. It doesn't, you know, it's not going to make a huge difference if the embossing powder sticks a little bit. But I'm not trying to get it to stick. Okay, so that is going to go there, and I know that we're going to have our paste here. You could do this with texture paste, any kind of texture paste. So you want to grab your grit paste or whatever paste on the back of your spatula or your palette knife, or if you have one of those little spatulas, that's going to work. And this is translucent, so it is going to dry clear, but it's a little bit gritty and has a little bit of a texture. And actually, I think I'm going to kind of go like this. I don't need it to cover everything. I just want it to cover a few of the hearts. Maybe we'll do this one. And if you get this somewhere you don't want it, you can wipe it off before it dries. But again, I like that this mixed media background is just allowing you to kind of have fun playing. I'm just trying to get this flattened out over the background. I don't want a ton on here. So we'll do that there. And before it's dry, it's going to be a little bit white, and then it'll dry clear. And then down here, these are going to be our photos. So I don't want to leave it for too long. I was going to use the circles, but I think we'll just stick with the hearts. So I'm just going to add a couple more hearts down here, and then we'll put our embossing powder on. You could just leave it like this if you just wanted to have some texture paste on there. Or you can take that next step and add the embossing powder. And I'm just adding, just spreading it out a little bit to, it doesn't even matter if it fully covers a heart. You can see how it's just partially covered there. You do want to make sure that you clean this off. If I'm using a lot of stencils, then I'll just have a bucket with soapy water, and that just means I don't have to take the time to stop and clean everything. I can just throw it in the bucket. But I didn't bring my bucket right now. And as long as you wipe it fairly, you know, you don't just leave it to dry, then it's not going to be hard to clean off. I just sprayed it with a little bit of water, and I'm just wiping it. And I think it's fine for your stencils to be stained, or there'll be a little bit of residue on them. That just means you're using them. So as long as there's not chunks of things, because then that's going to be hard to get your next layer on, I think that's fine. Okay, so now we want to add a little bit of our embossing powder before this dries. Okay, so this is the Uncharted Mariner, and if you want to mix colors for embossing powder, this is an easy way to do a little mixture. You're sprinkling it on, and rather than dumping it off, unless you're going just for one color, this allows you to get that mixture, because if you're dumping it off, then everything, as it dumps off, everything's going to be layered. And I just want to make sure my hands are clean. And I'm also not just dumping it on, because this is going to be a mixture, so I'm not going to keep it or put it back in. You could keep it if you felt like you wanted to. And you can also, you could use glitter if you wanted and just set it aside to dry. I like this technique. This one's the salvaged, sorry, this is speckled egg. So I like this technique because you can heat it. It looks cool once it's heated, and then you can still keep working on your layout. You don't have to set it aside to dry. Okay, and then you just kind of top the bottom. That's a Tim Holtz trick, and you can see that it moves the powder around, but it also gives you that look of a mix. And then we can go ahead and just tap it off. And really, we barely wasted anything. So we can, I'm just gonna wipe my mat, keep that clean, and dump out my powder. And then we can go in and heat this up. So if you want to try to make sure that your powder doesn't blow all over the place, especially if you have a larger, chunkier powder, thicker, You can start heating from the bottom. This one is really quite fine, the embossing glazes, so and you're just keeping your embossing gun moving. Oh, thanks, Glenda. And as it starts to melt, then you'll see it change color. So we are still going to be able to see our stamping underneath. Because that powder and the grit paste are both translucent. All right, so here it's going to start bubbling. It will start bubbling and then go back. But as that embossing powder melts, and the grit paste will bubble. So you get a really cool effect. If you didn't want that much bubbling, then you could definitely let it dry fully, then heat your embossing powder, and I think you'll get less bubbling than a wet paste. But I like the look of it. And then you've got that fun embossing powder effect. Okay, so there's a look at our embossed hearts, but we can still see our stamping through it. Just rubbing off any extra powder. Okay, so now we can glue on our border here. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to do. We could add a little bit of ink with those if we felt like it needed it, but we'll glue this on first and see how it looks. Hello to everybody who popped in. We're just using the Shotz October kit. Actually, maybe I'll just use this. October kit, which is featuring the Vicki Boutin PrintShop and some of the add-ons that you can get with the kit. And if anybody is wondering about the kit, then you can check out, there's the Shotz website has a whole web page, What is Kit Club? And we'll trim that off after, that little piece. And then we're gonna put this on. All right, Helen, thanks for popping in. Now you have to try that. Yes, it's so cool. I think that's one of my favorite ways. Plus, you know, it adds, I like adding texture, and I think it's just a fun way to do that. But it's not overwhelming either. Like, it's still nice and soft. Okay, we're just going to trim this. Now we've got our photos. So I don't know if I want them overlapping. And this will just be my journaling, and I think I have a hole punch. Well, my kids have a hole punch, so I'm gonna steal it from them. And I don't have any twine right up here, but I'll probably put a piece of twine in there after. So that's a little bit less wide than the photos. That's fine. And here's our paper that we're using. So now we could decide what color. I'm thinking maybe a little bit of this blue. I also have broken china. But I think we'll just go with the speckled egg. I'm just going to use the sponge here in my tool. If I'm using a stencil, then I definitely want to use a brush. But if I'm edging something, then I find just using the sponge and the wooden handle works great. And this sheet in the background always works great. The non-stick sheet always is nice to do your inking on, and then you can just wipe it off. It's so hard not to spread out. So that just is giving it a little bit of blue around the edge. I think that I need a little bit, maybe a little bit of the saltwater taffy around this tag. I still like to ink my edges. I feel like I've been doing it since I started using Tim Holtz inks, and I just saw somebody the other day doing it, and I thought, I don't know if that never left or if it came back. Now we have, okay, so this is what I was thinking with the watercolor set. I don't know if the gold would probably look good, or the blue, and I just am adding a couple splatters. I think you could do it with any of these. You could even mix the pink and the gold a little bit to have more of an orange. But I think let's keep with the blue theme and just use a little bit of blue. You don't think it ever left? Yeah. Yeah, I think if there's something you like to do, then just do it. Okay, these are very nice. I love these watercolor paints. And so all I'm doing is adding a little bit of speckles. Now, I probably should, set this aside and make sure it's dry, but I'm not going to do that. Maybe I will dry that a little bit, because otherwise I'll probably make a mess. So that's just going to give us a little bit of shiny splatters. We could, actually, before I put that away, I'm going to do a little bit on this tag as well. I find if you're not sure about where to add embellishments or add stamping, if you have the triangle effect, so basically here, 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 that creates a triangle, you really can't go wrong. And this pack comes with a little mini water brush, which I think is cute. I may not even use any of my cardstock that I brought. Okay, let's dry this first. A little bit anyways. You can see that metallic kind of shimmer on it. It's very pretty. And it really is not going to take too long to dry anyways. There. I don't want to rub my hand over it, but I think it's dry enough. So basically that is how it's going to look. And then our title. Titles are sometimes an afterthought for me. And then I think, where am I going to put that? So I thought on the bright side would be cool. And I probably, you know, as I'm saying this, I realized, you know, maybe I should have left a spot to stick this on. So we'll just see, maybe we'll decide where to put that. I still could stick it on here. It's not that textured, but I would probably add a little bit of glue. And I liked on the bright side because of the buildings in the background. So we could do it down here. We could do it up here. We could move this down a little bit. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do it. And we'll just add a little bit of glue. Okay, I'm not going to stick that on quite yet. So I'm going to glue this on first, now that I know where I'm going to put things. You could run it up the side over here, or you're not talking about here on the left, right? I was thinking about here, but then I thought, I think the blue is too dark on the bright side, like here. And overlap it. What do you think? I also really like this puffy phrases, because look at all the puffy stickers you get. All of these are like little mini puffy stickers. The right side, yeah. You know what we could do is, so that it's easier to see, we could just cut it out and see how it looks. Because it is on clear. And this would help us position it too. There are some little mini puffy stickers that are really cute as well that come with this. I like it, except that if this, I think this being here, this needs to go this way. However, if it was something that was open, I think that would be a great idea. But cutting it apart is going to let us move it around a little bit. You cut yours out all the time? Yeah, it's a good way to just decide where you want to put them. Okay, let's think about that. I don't know. Now that I'm looking at that, I almost think maybe I want it down here. Kind of like that. Sometimes it also helps to take a picture of it and then figure out I don't know if that's kind of dark to have in the background there. I could do that too. The bottom, you like that better, Rhonda? Yeah. Could do like that. And then it's not on top of that dark spot. Okay, let's go with that. Good. And sometimes, like I said, I will just walk away from it. And then when I come back and look at it, I'll either know that it works or not, or, you know, take a photo of it and then look at it through the photo. And I'm just using my grid ruler to make sure that's straight. And then I think we'll get maybe some of that, those stickers out of that papery bundle. So I usually don't put the glue right to the end, and I haven't pressed this down super hard. So if I wanted to tuck something under it, I can still do that. Grid ruler it's the Olfa one, and I actually ordered it through Shotz. So if you want her to order one, it's the 6x12 Olfa ruler. They have a couple different sizes. They have larger, and then they have a 1x12, but I kind of like these dimensions. But Irene, if you want her to order that for you or get a price for you, you can just email Sandy and she'll get that for you, or order it in. And lots of times, if there's something that you see that we don't have on the site, if it's something Sandy can get through the manufacturer, you can just email her, and if she can get it, she'll order it in for you. The bottom is cute. Yes, I agree. I'll make sure that she looks for it, Irene. Okay, so let's stick this on. I don't think it's as important to get these words on exactly straight. These ones I'll put on straight, but these, because they have that scripty look to them. I also recently, this is the Olfa craft knife that I got, and I find it works nice to cut with that ruler, to cut the foils if you're doing hot foiling. I love these puffy sticker letters. Okay, so we're going to put this here. I'm going to put the little dot for the eye, which I believe is called the tittle. I'm going to put that inside the G. And then we've got on the, this one's nice too because it's frosted on one side, and even if you're on a dark cardstock, you can still see the numbers well. So if I know I want this to be there, I'm just lining up my markings along the bottom. And then you can either use a craft knife or use your tweezers. Probably should have started with the the E, and then you just use it to place these down, and it's just helping you get them lined up rather than trying to hold them in the right place or guessing. And we'll do this one here. So what are you guys planning for the rest of the week or the weekend? Do you have any crafting planned? I think if you're in the Creative Scrapbooker VIP group, they have their crop going on. Okay, so we've got on the bright side. You're a perfectionist, so you always measure. I just usually measure because it'll be really wonky. Oh yes, Vicky's on Friday. You're thinking about the foil machine. Well, it'll be there. Yeah, can be something on your wish list, or maybe like, you know, an idea for somebody to give you for Christmas, maybe. Okay, let's look at we've got, at the end, I'm gonna go back and put some of these little puffy stickers on. And what I normally do now is this is the ephemera from the kit. Then here's these stickers. So my process would be just to kind of look through and see if anything works. So we could have, I guess, used one of these for a border too. That would have looked good. That's okay. We could do a bright idea. This is us. That could go there. You know what, let's just, sometimes if I see something and I think it'll work, I just go ahead and do it. Because obviously you could be there all day if you felt like you wanted to try lots of things, but I think sometimes if you see something that works, then you just gotta go for it. I do like the clip, like I like the idea of the clip up there, or this noted. And I'll probably go in, just because these are layered on, I'll probably go in with a little bit of my art glitter glue and just glue those down in spots just to make sure that they stay. There's lots of things that will work. Then we've got these. I'm just gonna quickly look at all of these, pick a couple. I might add some on after. I will definitely make sure that I take a picture of this and post it on the Scrapshots page, and also in the Scrapshots paper crafting group. Our challenge this month, we've got the challenge up, and it is changing colors. So if you have some fall projects you want to share, or if you have you know, even ink blending that changes colors, anything like that, you can link it up to the album. I love this bird. I do like the awesome photo. Like, I like the idea of a tab being up there. And we already used This Is Us, but that's something, if you hadn't, you could use. Or cool. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I haven't glued these photos down yet, but we're gonna use Cool on that one. The sticker books as well, if you have the sticker book, those are great for adding little stickers right to your pictures. This is from that papery pack. And sometimes if I get an idea of something I want to add, I'll just go ahead and add it. I'm going to put this sticker on, but I'm going to cut it in half. There's 2 there. I only need 1. And I believe this is a sticker. It could be a piece of paper. I think it's a sticker. Okay. Oh, it's a sticker, guys. It's like a washi sticker, so it's just really, really thin. And I will go back and just touch up the areas that I want to touch up. That is not on right. This as well, I think we'll definitely need a little bit of glue to hold it down. Okay, it's really nice though, and it's translucent because it's that washi tape, so we'll be able to tuck that in. And then you just have different areas where with it behind. That one could go there. I'm not sure if I want to put that one on yet, so we'll just leave that for now. I think I can glue these on. It's hard to tell which are paper or sticker. Yeah, it has a little bit different feel. Like the paper is pretty thin, and this does feel like it has a bit of a coated backing on it. Now, if I know that I want this one in the center, it might be easier to put this on first. So this isn't exactly 12. Looks like it's about 1/4 of an inch off. So if I move my ruler to be 1/8 of an inch on each side, then I still know the middle of my photo is going to be at 6. So if I just center it between there, move it over a little bit. And I can just stick it on there. It looks like it might be it's a little closer, so I'm just going to move it back a little bit. And that's going to stick under there. And like I said, I'm just tacking that down really lightly so that I can make sure they're fully attached after. But it does definitely make getting things straight a little easier. Okay, so I think we'll probably just look at our I'm going to put some twine on that after. I'm going to write some journaling. This as well is really great for journaling. So when I'm writing my journaling, I draw the lines lightly in pencil and just kind of move it down 1/4 of an inch. And then I have lines spaced 1/4 of an inch. And that gives me a good amount of space to do my journaling. So if I want to put on ephemera, I'll just kind of quickly go through this because we don't want to be here 10 months, but this is probably a pretty quick layout. Normally, if I'm going through ephemera, so I'll go through my stickers, I'll add some stickers on, you know, whatever I feel fits. I'll probably go back and add more stickers. I did like, let me see here. I liked this note thing. Where did I see that? Oh, this noted. I liked the style and the color. Yes, it does make things much easier. Okay, so we could stick it in here to give us a little bit of a layered look. We could also stick it behind. I kind of like it like that. All right, we're gonna go that way. And lots of flowers in here, which is nice. I don't think I need a flower. So if I go through it and if I see something that might work, then I usually set it aside. I love that stitching look on that. Good times, isn't that awesome? That would be a really great title. I'm not going to use it on this layout, but I do like that. I just like the height of it, and I like the colors. That could be a possibility. Actually, like one of those flowers tucked in there might work. These are so great. I don't think I need more big words. This is awesome as well. I really like that. I don't know if I'll specifically use it on there, but I kind of think it could work. And then that other pack is here, but I don't think I need too much more. Like, I don't even think I'll do that. I kind of like that because it almost looks like the lights, and we could tuck that one behind there just to kind of have it cohesive. I think that's almost pretty much it. I'll go back and glue those on. I definitely think you could keep adding, or you could say that's it. So this was one of the add-ons. I really like this pack. Just the little pieces that it just looks like a little junk journal. Glasses are great. A butterfly? Yes, maybe we could find a butterfly. Butterflies always work. Some of these got a little bit bent. I do like the banner. I think that'll go on lots of things. I'm not going to put on this one. Is there a butterfly in here? There is a butterfly. It's, oh, there it is. Or there's a butterfly sticker as well. Although we could, so there's a couple different butterflies, and you also have them in the sticker or in the chipboard. So depending on which one you wanted, the top of the package. This one, is that this one or the blue, the pink or the blue? Or you're saying the top of this package? I like that color. I almost feel though that might be a little bit, might need to be a little bit smaller. I do love that butterfly. And also, now that I'm thinking about it, one of these papers, does it have those on, or is that on one of the ones that you can get? Oh yeah, this one. You could fussy cut out the butterfly and put that on. Because I like that, but this one's a little bit smaller. We could do that real quick. Lots of these images are really great for fussy cutting. So if we do this, if you have a small pair of scissors, it makes fussy cutting go so quickly. And then you have this ready-made embellishment. So just by turning your paper and not the scissors. And another trick is that if you want to make it a little bit easier, then give yourself a little border. So we'll do his little antennas with a little border. And then I think we'll just put on a couple puffy stickers, and I'll add my journaling and maybe a couple other details. Here, I'm giving him a border on his wings on the left, and I didn't on the right, so let's fix that up. I think fussy cutting too is something that you can do while you're watching a show if you wanted to have a few images from your paper cut out and on hand for embellishments, then you just do that while you're watching a show. There we go. And because this has that mixed media look, you don't have to, doesn't have to be perfect either. So how about if we do that little butterfly, kind of like him up there. I think we'll glue him down. So I don't want to glue his wings completely. I will glue this so it doesn't tear off, but I want his wings to be sticking up a little bit. There. And then what I would do would be just to go in with some of these puffy stickers, the little embellishment ones, and add them on. So I think the stars, those are kind of fun to add because it's a night sky. And these little gold dots are fun. You could even do this little heart. This is cute up here. And I think I'll probably glue that there, but I'm not sure about that. I have to think about that. Good triangle in black with words and border strip. Yes, that's a great idea. So there you go. This is mostly finished. I will finish it up and post a picture, and hopefully that gives you some inspiration using your kit. If you're still waiting for your kit, you will love it as soon as it arrives. I know Sandy was getting those all shipped out. And hopefully you get some time to do some crafting over the next week. Take it easy. Thanks, Irene. It was great hanging out with you guys. Thanks, Lorraine. And thank you guys for just spending time with me here, and taking your time. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else. Have an awesome week, and I will see you again next time. Bye.